What's up, YouTube? Happy Wednesday to all. I wanted to jump on here and be the first one to give you guys the bad news. I just got off a Zoom meeting with one of our insurance company partners, and we had a very positive meeting, mainly to discuss the future of telesales, live transfers, and it all had to do with compliance. And, you know, the insurance company is really concerned about the high level of complaints coming, you know, from just general agents, TCPA, DNC violations. In general, they're getting a lot more complaints. Luckily for us, we don't have any complaints with the carrier, but still, litigators are targeting everybody because most of them understand that agents don't understand these laws. And, you know, we started discussing what happened in Medicare. Medicare was a blow to my company overseas. You know, we had to lay off several hundred people because we didn't have the business to accommodate them in terms of Medicare because it was completely shut down. And we're still dealing with that mess right now. And for those of you guys that don't know, basically, the government banned the ability to send calls for Medicare from overseas centers, regardless if you're doing it by the books. I mean, there's so many new rules and guidelines that it made it impossible for a center to deliver that type of traffic. So imagine if your center was totally dependent on Medicare. They shut you down literally overnight. And it all has to do with compliance, ladies and gentlemen. You know, a lot of people out there, you know, they're being optimistic. I understand. I'm trying to be optimistic. But the reality is, this year you had to provide all your marketing material to CMS. You got to provide the real Jornaya. Everything was double verified, checked, and crossed. And then on top of this, by banning overseas centers, they made sure that they had a control of the compliance issues when it comes to Medicare, which makes sense. I get it. But again, why is this happening? Last year, you see these big health agencies, you know, they were buying everything in the market space in terms of leads all over the place. I knew a company that was buying from Pakistan, Philippines, and routing it off to Slovenia, to the Philippines, all over the map to get the traffic they needed for Medicare. I understand everyone's looking for the best cost-effective way of acquiring a customer. But unfortunately, when you grow that fast and you have so many centers sending you calls, if your system's not, you know, up to speed in terms of APIs that can block out a DNC call or really check a Jornaya token in real time, then you put yourself out there for the risk of a DNC violation or TCPA violation. And that's what happened to a lot of big boys out there. They dealt with it with their money, but it didn't stop the fact from receiving all these crazy lawsuits. So I told everyone I knew that we would see some regulation, but I didn't expect it this hardcore. So with that said, in this meeting we had here not too long ago, the question was asked, okay, Medicare got banned right now. And I know a lot of centers here in the USA that have depended heavily on offshore companies like mine with their lead supply. Why? Again, because the cost savings is attractive. Well, what's going to happen with final expense? What's holding the insurance carriers, like the one that I was talking to, from making it so you have to prove where you're getting your marketing from? You got to show your websites. You got to show that you're following the DNC guidelines. Just like they did with Medicare, CMS did. What's holding it back? Because, I mean, more than ever, people are being harassed over the phone. More than ever, people like me and you that sell insurance are on the phone selling insurance. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You can solicit, but you can't solicit someone that's on the do not call registry. Unless they asked you for the information, which is your TCPA guidelines, your opt-in guidelines, then you can't call if that person's on the DNC. I've worked with great centers overseas, and I still have some solid partnership. They're staying on board because they've proven they know how to follow the rules, and we don't have no question. They've earned that trust. But we will no longer onboard centers. We will no longer invest the energy and time to train them, because at the end of the day, we feel, me, my legal team, and this particular insurance company feels that in the near future, final expense will have the same fate. So with that said, we want to prepare for that future. Hopefully it never happens. But the people that were on the phone call today are people that I trust very dearly. They have a lot of knowledge of this industry, how it truly works. And we're in the insurance business, so it all comes down to risk. So how can you reduce risk? Well, if the calls are being sent from an onshore center, then we can reduce a lot of the risk because we can hold those people accountable here. I'm not saying that you can't hold someone accountable in Pakistan. In fact, I just won a civil lawsuit for $500,000 in Rawalpindi in an ex parte, and I won. So you can sue someone in Pakistan successfully as an American, and they can sue you here too. That's the beauty of it. But if the calls are coming from onshore, the process is going to be a lot faster than having to sue someone overseas and having to deal with all the international civil procedures. And I've been there, done that. I'm telling you, you can't tell me something I've already haven't done overseas. So again, the people that have been with me all these years, you're grandfathered in, you will be allowed to send us calls under the same premise for final expense, but we will no longer onboard any new people. I'm sorry. All I could say is if you're watching this, do your best to apply these guidelines, DNC, TCPA. Stop the cutting corners. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to make this happen where the government steps in and shuts the shit down is as they see these complaints coming down the pike. And I'll tell you another thing. The amount of complaints that have been reported since they banned overseas groups has already seen a positive improvement in terms of less. So luckily for us, we've had 3 centers here in U.S. soil, Southern California and Dallas, Texas. I'm open to onboarding onshore centers that have a location here in the U.S., physical location, that can help us with our live transfer system. We will continue to help agents on an individual basis, small agencies, regardless if you have a contract with us on the insurance side or not. We'll still help you with that. In terms of the bigger outfits, we'll definitely be able to talk to you, but we'll need more time, more planning, because obviously now our resources are going to be reduced a little bit less because the amount of volume that we're able to send is going to be reduced because we're no longer going to be onboarding new people. So again, it's not what I want to say. You know, I've been very pro overseas business for many years. I've built some amazing friendships overseas. But again, you know, if you're starting to notice a pattern here and you're starting to see the amount of complaints out there, sooner or later, all they got to do is just make a phone call and the government shuts it down and it's over. So we definitely want to position ourselves for that, and we have. So if you're watching this and you're looking for a lead source, give us a call. It's 100% onshore. The cost is going to be a little bit more. That's the bad side. I've always said that. The attractive thing of working overseas is the cost savings. Well, with, you know, the decision we're making, well, we're going to have to charge you a little bit extra, but you're going to have a U.S.-based representative sending you the call. Now, I want to touch on another topic, and that is accents. I had this big agency, not going to drop names. And earlier this year, you know, they were adamant that they did not want no offshore presence. And I mean, in this meeting, it was pretty intense. The executive team says, and by the way, we have a accent department, so we'll be able to detect if you're funneling, you know, XYZ centers into our system. And to be honest with you guys, that really pissed me off because I'm a Mexican guy and I have a Chicano accent. I live in Northern California. And I said, wow, again, a well-known company. And I said, can you please explain to me what the F you mean you have an accent department? He totally backpedaled on that real quick. And the funny part was that we do not have an accent department, but we make sure that every single one of our U.S.-based agents doesn't have a language barrier. And I know that's what they wanted to say, right? But accents in America are going to come in every shape and form across the country, but we make sure that there's no language barrier, if that makes sense. And, you know, this company, like I said, backpedaled on their comment and really were embarrassed because they had an accent department. So what we guarantee, again, is a U.S.-based representatives. We believe in equal opportunity to everybody. And if somebody, you know, is applying for an opportunity and I can understand them just like you can understand me, but they have an accent of any shape or form, we're going to give them an opportunity. Now, if there's a language barrier, then that's a whole different topic. So, again, to all my friends in Pakistan, thank you for all the years. And to the ones that, you know, believed in us and were able to get grandfathered in, congratulations. Thank you. And this is the beginning of a new chapter. In terms of price increase, right now we charge $50 for a live transfer. And, you know, off opt-in information, people looking online for final expense, and we're calling on them. And I'm thinking we're probably going to bump it up maybe another $10, but it's onshore. You know, we definitely got to make a little bit of money to cover all the bills, and the taxes in California are ridiculously high, so you can understand. So with that said, my friends, you know, this is, you know, setbacks, but hey, we can easily sit back and say, oh, whatever, it's only happening to the Medicare side. It's never going to happen. But you know what? I would rather make the change now than wait for the government to shut the bitch down, and then I'll scramble. So if you need any support in terms of that, give me a call. Peace.